All right. Looks like we are live. Yep. We are live. Now all we're doing is waiting on QC to jump in. It is now 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. Let's see if we can get QC on here. What's up? What's up with it? Here we go. Connecting with me. There he is.
Y'all see me?
Of course. He got on the
Y'all
hoodie.
see me?
Yeah, we
What's up, bro?
Of course. You got on
What's
the
up,
hoodie.
bro?
I should change shirts, man. Shit.
I knew you was gonna come correct, so
Man,
I
listen,
thought
hold
you
up,
was
man.
gonna
Hold up.
Yeah,
Let me
man,
get
come on, man.
the Carolina shirt.
You gotta do it right.
Real quick.
There we go. What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Duke Nation, the Brotherhood, Lake Show, we in here. We in here.
On our way back, man. You gotta come correct.
If y'all can see it, okay.
QC done put on the Duke hoodie, man.
Okay.
You know your boy got.
Oh man.
Come on, man.
It's
You know.
getting a little blurry. It's getting a little blurry in the camera. It's getting a little
Yeah.
blurry. All right, okay.
We good? We clear now?
We good.
All right. Let's welcome everybody to the NBPA Live. I'm your host, Danny Green, here with Quinn Cook. We were both Los Angeles Lakers, but before this, we were alums of some really great schools. I was a Tar Heel alum for 4 years. I did all four, from 2005 to 2009. And Quinn, you can give me a little background of
Quinn Cook, Duke point guard from 2011 to 2015. So I also did 4 years and graduated. So, best 4 years of my life.
Same, man. First, we're gonna get into. We're gonna let the fans chime in and ask some questions. But first, I wanted to ask you, QC, what was your favorite Duke team of all time? I know we have a couple topics that we want to discuss, but I want to know what your favorite Duke team of all time was.
My favorite Duke team of all time for me was the 2010 Duke team.
Okay.
Oh, no. 2011 Duke team. I'm sorry.
Okay. 2011.
Yeah, with Kyrie, Nolan, Kyle Singler, the Plumlee brothers. They were extremely good. Unfortunately, Kyrie got hurt, but that allowed Nolan to kind of have the year he had, have that player of the year. And they got Kyrie back, obviously. But just watching those guys healthy, man, because I was committed there. I had just committed. So
Yeah.
they took everything for me. And, that was definitely my favorite Duke team.
For me, I would have to say there's a couple of them. When I was a youngster, I used to watch Stack and Sheed and those guys.
Yeah.
Those teams were kind of my favorite. And then before I got there, also the 05 team that won it before I got there was one of my favorite teams. And we've had a big debate of the last couple of days, actually, in the last week or so, what's the best Carolina team of all time? Not like your favorite. What's the best, in your opinion, what's the best Duke team of all time that had the best team through the tournament, through the AC tournament, throughout the season, to put up the best numbers, and it was the team that was probably the most unbeaten team of Duke of all time.
For me, I mean, we both won national championships, so we always gonna be more biased with our team. But if I take all the bias in the South, it'll be between the 2001 team or that 92 team kind of really started, that Duke dominance, obviously, with Johnny Dawkins and Jay Billis and Danny Ferry, all those guys. Right before that little run that we had, they set the tone by getting to the Final Four, losing national championship to Louisville in the 80s. but I kind of think they set the tone for that '90s run they had with Leitner, Grant, Bobby Hurley, and stuff. But that 2001 team was amazing. I remember watching that, and I grew up like in Georgetown and Maryland territory. So
that's the only team outside of Carolina that I did like, with Jay Williams. Man, he was a killer, dog.
Mike Daly,
and not many Duke players that I like, but Jay was one of them. There's a couple of them, but Jay was a dog, bro. And I was watching him when I was a youngster too.
Did you grow up a Carolina fan?
I did. I said when Sheed and stacking him, I was young. So I mean, my dad was a basketball fan, so I grew up idolizing whatever he was a fan of. He was a fan of the Bulls and fan of Carolina. Mind you, we were still, because a lot of my friends like Duke. So before I started getting to high school and getting recruited, I did. I'm gonna say, I did like some of the Duke players and like some of the teams.
For sure.
But as I got older, I had to pick a side. You know what I'm saying? And I was always a Carolina fan. So
for sure.
And we always had this debate because the 05 team had won it, and my team in 2009 had won it, and we won the tournament pretty good in 2009. So the debate is who is the greatest Carolina team of all time. And I respect the OGs, but I have to go with our team in 09 just because of how we went through the tournament. There was probably one close game or so. Other than that, our tournament run was pretty historic. We won a lot of games by double digits, 15 and 20. Yeah. And
I know y'all got at Michigan State in the chip.
We did, man, and that's when Draymond was a little younger, but Draymond was there. So we had Ty Lawson, Dion, Tyler Hansborough, Wayne on the wings. We had Ed Davis come off the bench, Tyler Zeller come off the bench. We had a lot of guys that can do a lot of different things, and obviously the 05 team was very talented as well. Can't take that away from them. So if we were to match up in our primes, it would be a hell of a match, a hell of a game. But I think we get the edge just because I told him, I had the argument yesterday. I think Tyler, he was just so crafty at getting people in foul trouble. He was going to foul out half your damn team. Yeah. And, we ran and pushed, and we had some shooters. But I think that's where we had the advantage with the free throws with Tyler. So now let's get to the topics that we supposed to discuss. Your all-time Duke team, put together, dream Duke team, and why?
Just five? We just doing starting five?
Yep, you're starting five.
Okay.
All-time Duke team.
Okay.
And why? And then we'll debate my all-time Carolina team and see what the matchups are.
All right. So at the point guard, I gotta go Jay Will, just because what he did in those 3 years. What he did in those 3 years was amazing. Number 2 pick, obviously. At the 2, I gotta go Nolan Smith.
Okay, it's your dog. Okay.
National Champion, Player of the Year, ACC Player of the Year, National Player of the Year, all that stuff. At the 3, I got to go Grant Hill. I just think he's the most talented player to ever play at Duke thus far.
One of my favorites as well. Grant.
Yeah, I mean,
my brother was a big Grant Hill fan.
Obviously, we all know what he did in the league. So, I mean, I think that's a no-brainer.
He's the only guy that can get people to wear feelers, man.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. We all
when he had the feelers and when he was playing the league, man, everybody had them joints.
Yeah, he's definitely a trendsetter. At the 4, I might get killed for this, but I gotta go Zion Williamson.
Okay.
I got Zion Williamson.
There's a lot of y'all had a lot of good bigs, man.
A lot of good bigs. I mean, Boozer, Brand, a lot, but Zion couldn't be stopped in that 1 year.
Yeah, now he is an explosive specimen, man. That I've never seen anything like it at his height, because he's not very tall. He's like the new era Charles Barkley. Just even more explosive. It's crazy.
Yeah, and at the 5, I gotta go Christian Laettner.
Okay.
I think what he did in college, has one of the most complete resumes, not just Duke history, but college basketball history. So that's my 5. I think we're very balanced.
Okay. That's a tough 5, bro. But my 5 that's coming right now, I got a little heat for you.
Let me see.
At 1, I'm gonna go way back, and this has to just out of and obviously I'm not gonna go with my favorites. I'm just going with I'm gonna go Phil Ford. He one of the pioneers, man. Obviously he was great. He's one of the pioneers. Great dope all around dude, but a great player, man. And of course at 2, we got Mike. Self-explanatory, bro. Self-explanatory.
Nolan got his hands full.
Yeah. At 2, we got Mike. At 3, I'm gonna go with VC. I'm gonna go with Vince, man. Just I said he's a great, obviously. What he did in the league for 22, 23 years. Sucks that his last year got cut short. But one of the most entertaining players I've ever seen play the game. And not just at Carolina, I'm talking about across the world. And not only did entertain it, but he did numbers. He didn't just, he did numbers great, but he did the numbers in a fashion that nobody's ever seen do it.
Right.
Very athletic, wing defender, offensive player as well. They both all defense. At the 4, I'm going to go with Antawn Jamison. This was a tough one for me because there's a lot of 4s, a lot of guys that have favorites, a lot of guys that did work, from Big May to, so many other people. Sam Perkins, there's a lot of guys you can list off. But I have to go with, I'm going to have to go with Twan because he was just a killer with no dribbles. He was getting buckets. I think they said he had 36 points in a span of the time he had the ball in his hands was maybe like 2 minutes, something crazy. So he was just catching quick hook. He had the ball in his hands maybe, less than a minute or something crazy. He was the big man version of Clay. Clay had his 60 points and no 9 dribbles, some crazy shit like that. He was
a killer with the Wizards, so I seen that. Yeah,
man. So he was a killer. So not many dribbles, not many seconds of holding the ball. So he was a big man version of Clay, how he put up numbers with low time on the clock. And at the 5, this one was a tough one for me, man. Because there's so many favorites, there's so many guys that put up numbers, and I kind of wanted to steer away from being biased of my team because I normally would go with Tyler Hansborough, but I'm gonna have to go with Big Game James Worthy. And he's probably he's not like a 7-footer, but he played like one. And this is a small ball for me, small ball era for me. So I want the small ball team that actually run, get up and down, and guard all positions. And I don't think there's many teams that could match up with that Carolina team and beat them. But the Duke team you picked is pretty solid, bro. I'm not gonna lie, but I think
we balance that all positions. We're older. We're mature. We got a young Zion. Well, he got
for sure. I just think Nolan might have his hands full.
Oh no, Nolan will definitely have his hands.
I think Grant and VC is a really good matchup.
I'm saying no Rasheed Wallace.
I like Sheed is my guy too. Sheed is my dog. But I think Sheed kind of blossomed more because he only did, I think, 2 years. I think he blossomed more when he got to the league. His game started expanding more when he got to the league. So Sheed is my backup for 4, and then my 5 backup would have been Tyler. It's tough to pick those. We have so many guys. Both squads got so many guys to choose from.
Yeah.
But I think if we had that matchup with the Duke Carolina, the all-time team, I think no one would have his hands full. Jay Williams, Phil Ford. I like Jay a lot. Phil, that's a tough one. I said VC and Grant. That's a hell of a matchup as well. Twan and Zion. Ooh, I think Zion is probably bigger, stronger body, more explosive than Twan. Yeah. But I think Twan outsmarts him, outcraft. He's more crafty, quickness. But that's a hell of a matchup too. And Leitner and James and Big Game James, another hell of a matchup. But if I had to debate it, I'd have to say the Carolina team has to get that one, bro.
As you should. The game I have to be in like Lucas Oil Arena or Madison Square Garden.
For sure. Because y'all home court now. That's into the next topic.
Yeah.
Home court advantage. If y'all play at home, that's definitely a tougher matchup for us. And then if we play at home, who do you think? Which building? Which arena do you think has the better home court advantage?
First, like playing at Carolina is my favorite game, obviously with the rivalry. But I just love that arena. It's a shooter's arena, as you know. But I just love like that blue. Like the blue is the arena's so big and every spot is the same color. Obviously, you can go to other arenas like you go to Cameron and right behind the bench, right behind y'all bench, and all around you'll see a little bit of Carolina blue. But in Carolina and the Ding Dome, like there's no other color, and it's just a sea. So it's like when you go out for the warm-ups, the crowd's already out there telling you your mom's phone number, your girlfriend from middle school, they let you have it and vice versa. So I think obviously we have the home court advantage because it's smaller and it's more of us in there and it shakes and stuff like that. But obviously there's more. So
this is the only thing that I would have to give you guys the advantage on. Everything else, I'm going Carolina, and I love our arena. It's bigger. I think it's nicer. We have great fans, but I think that you guys have the advantage. I don't know what the hell y'all do in class, but y'all have the chants down pat to where everybody's on the same page. Everybody's got they got a bunch of chants, and there's 6,000 people right on top, and everything is like a student section. It's like we have one small student section, and I always thought, and we always talked about it and fought for it, to have more students down low, to be in your face, and they wouldn't allow signs. And talk trash. So I think you guys, because you guys had the signs and could talk trash, it made it funny as hell, more fun, but I think it gave you guys the advantage to where it distracted us. And I think the funniest thing that has ever happened of all time is the dude that had was it the Speedo dude? The Speedo, and right behind the free throw line. And that was the funniest shit I've ever seen, man, with the Speedo dude. And some of the stuff to the posters and signs y'all have, man, is hilarious.
It's amazing the routine that they have. They have they take it so serious, bro. Like
I see Dot. They got Nolan in the chat saying they ain't moving the old folks court side. They pay too much money. Carolina.
Too much money over there.
Yeah, man. So yeah, our season ticket holders are amazing. I love them, and they're great, and they bring great energy. But there's nothing like your students on campus that are.
We're having this great conversation, but only thing they're going to take from this is Danny Green.
Yeah, I know. He said Duke has the advantage. I'm like, it's going to be headlines. I'm like, God damn it. It's not what I said. But, yeah, man. So I'm going to give the fans a little of the atmosphere of the campus during that week, that time, of your experience before the biggest matchup, the biggest rivalry in sports, in my mind, ever in history. Describe your week, your campus, of what you've seen or what's going on when you're walking around campus.
Well, first, for me, it's like obviously being in that area, we are the pro teams. Obviously, the Hornets are 2 hours away, but it's Duke and Carolina. And fans will come up and tell you like, look, y'all could go to the NIT. Y'all don't got to make a tournament. Y'all could lose in the first round, but let's just get those 2 games against Carolina.
Yeah,
but that's where it starts. It starts there, and then it's like for us, our campers. I mean, not our campers. Our students, they start staying in those tents when ACC play starts. So it's either time like we either play our first in Cameron like mid-February, like around mid-February, or we play our like the last game of the ACC. So that's like March, early March. But they start staying in those tents from January until March. Like they start, and it's all for one game. Obviously, they'll be out there for a big game, and they'll be out there a lot. But they're out there for the Carolina game first, and then when it's not just Carolina Day, it's Carolina week. Like it's tough, kind of getting ready for that Saturday game when you got Carolina on Wednesday, and that's all you're thinking about. We all get haircuts right before the game. Like, we all wear our best outfits. Like we all it's definitely a feel in the air. It's just not just on campus, but just in the state. Like, it's Carolina. And it's the best rivalry in sports.
For sure. Big shout out to Russ and everybody else that's jumping on. I'm checking out the UK Louisville comments and stuff like that. But for us, I said when we came, I said our campus is huge, and randomly, unfortunately, I've been on your campus quite a bit during that time because I used to date somebody that used to go to school there.
Okay.
But yeah, man. So our campus, said it was a week. We had people said intense hanging out and all over campus, just ready, excited for the whole experience. And they said these games were more important than any other game. And they would treat this game, and if we won, they would treat this game like it was kind of like a national championship game, where they would have the people on Franklin Street, they have the bonfires, people jumping over the bonfires and tearing down street lights and street signs and all kind of craziness. So this said is the biggest game of the year, but every time when it was there, and that always happened where somehow we'd play out or they would play us on senior night. We either play them on the senior night, or we play JJ on the senior night, or they play us on our senior night. And as I said, always in the middle of the season, and then at the end of the season, we would play our senior night before the ACC tournament. So somebody's senior night was getting ruined, or somebody's either way is getting ruined. But man, there's some hell of a teams, a hell of a crowds, people tents waiting, and everywhere you go, treated like professionals. We were treated like we were NBA players on campus. And even when I first got there, freshman, I was really a nobody, but they still, you ready for the night? And everything was for that week. So it was kind of crazy, man. Just walking around campus, seeing everybody, even teachers, people all around campus in the library, they know who you are, and they're bringing energy as if they're playing. They're dressing up in their warm-ups. They got their stuff on. They're getting their pregame.
It's not just game day for us. It's game day for
man, listen. It's kind of like how when we play the Clippers now, or when we play Boston, you feel that energy, man. It's playoffs-like atmosphere every time we play those teams, no matter what part. It could be preseason. It don't even matter. But let's jump into the fans, and let's let a couple of them ask a couple questions before we get up out of here. First and foremost, I want to make sure everybody knows that we're quarantined. Hope you guys are doing the same, staying safe, wash your hands.
It's crazy, bro. You my teammate. We share. We our lockers are right next to each other, bro. And I had been so long, bro. So
it's been a minute. You know what I'm saying? Missed my guys. It feels like it's been a year since I've seen you. I'm like, damn, it's off season already.
It's crazy.
But if the fans have any questions, Carolina Duke related, Lakers related, even said Boston or any of the rivalry, y'all want to jump in and ask some questions. This is the time to jump in, ask you some questions, ask me some questions about Carolina experience. So jump on in. Best part of March Madness. Ooh. I feel like when we came in, we won the AC tournament a couple times, but we knew if we won the AC tournament, it was tough to win the NCAA tournament. It was always the team that won their conference tournament always lost in the tournament. It may not have been early or so, but we never won a tournament. So at a certain point, we just didn't care about the AC tournament. And we met up with Duke one time, I think, AC tournament, and we were like, man, we really don't care to win it, but we have to beat them.
Gotta win that game.
So we gotta win that game, and it was a tough one. I don't remember how it went because it's so long ago for me. But the best thing about March Madness is obviously missing class a little bit, but we had to bring our homework with us, and we still had to do it and get it done online some way, somehow, figure it and get it done by the time we came back. But going into other cities, other arenas, going into hotel, having our bands with us, playing our marching songs in the hotel, especially after a win, seeing our fans and we walk out supporting us, seeing all the blue in the arenas that we played in different parts of the country. And like I said, having the practices, I think the practices in front of fans are one of the most fun times where guys are, showing us what we do, our little routine, our warm-ups, and then we have a little dunk off where everybody does their best dunks. And that's probably when you're prime, when you're able to do your best dunks as a human being when you're 18 to 22. Because after that, you start dwindling.
That's it right there.
You start doing it. Believe it or not, I could actually do a windmill in between the legs dunk when I was in college. I can't do that shit no more because I'll probably pull a hammy or a groin muscle I don't think I could put the ball between my legs sitting down. But, yeah, man, back then I used to try to get the crowd hype and do some dunks. And people now are so shocked when I dunk the ball. Like, I didn't know you could dunk. But back in college, I was actually a dunker. I played 2 through 4 in college. But
Greg, you have one of the most iconic plays in the rivalry history.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about that was that night. I remember it was number 8 on top 10. It didn't even make top 5. I don't know what was going on during that time.
Somebody behind the scenes was a Duke alum. That's all.
Man, somebody behind the scenes was definitely a Dookie. But it was not even. I think it was like number 7 or number 8. It wasn't even top 5 in the highlights of top 10 of ESPN.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, "Do you miss playing with the Warriors?"
Do I miss playing with the Warriors? Yeah, I do. I just miss being with those guys every single day. People don't know when you on these teams, especially in the NBA. You're on the bus with your team. You're on the plane. You're in practice all day. You're in the film. We do everything together, and you really become a family. And you guys are the breadwinners of your family, so all the daily struggles and joys that come with being an NBA player. So, we get to the locker room and it's like our sanctuary. We get to vent to each other. We get to laugh together.
For sure.
Like
I think that's
obviously.
Go ahead.
Obviously, being with the Warriors, like I won a championship. So, when you win a championship with a team, as you get even tighter and you have a special bond forever. So, I definitely keep in touch with all those guys. And
that's probably the biggest thing that most guys miss about is not the city, the fans, of course, but it's just the teammates, your brothers, your family members, and that's the biggest thing that I missed about San Antonio and Toronto. And obviously I miss the fans, I miss the city, but the family, the coaching staff, and my guys, my teammates, and you'll forever have a bond and a friendship and a family with those guys. And it's not like, oh, you don't like playing for. We love the city we play for now. We love being in LA. There's no better place to be, especially during this time, than Los Angeles. And the Lakers team, we know what the organization stands for, everything about it. We all grew up watching it and how it's. A lot of my family members were Lakers fans growing up, and since Magic days, my grandma was a Lakers fan. But so just miss that camaraderie with those guys, and we still keep in touch as much as we can, check in on them, check on their families, see how they're doing. But that's the biggest thing. So there's an interesting question.
Another thing like that I add on to that is like you develop like that us against the world mentality. It's like obviously
for sure you built that with that y'all in a bunker, man. Y'all going to battle
because it's like and everybody like from your family to your friends is asking you like trying to get the inside scoop of what's going on. Like obviously like we watch like Sports Center, we watch what's being said on TV and stuff like that. So it's like a us against the world mentality, and that brings you closer as
for
well.
sure.
So,
when y'all in that bunker mentality, man, y'all going to war and the battles with each other. You'll never forget those times with your teammates. For people, there was another interesting question that came up that I saw earlier, and I wanted to ask you. And this is probably why I dislike Duke even more than I did before. It said my podcast is called Inside the Green Room. Somebody just asked me. Inside the Green Room is my podcast, and I know Q was thinking about doing one. So if we do get him up and running on a podcast, trust me, it'll be dope.
Sure.
But the question was, when you were coming out of high school, were you recruited by Carolina when you were recruited by Duke? And
it's an interesting backstory, on that stuff. For me, like my three favorite players growing up was LeBron, Kobe, and Michael Jordan. So growing up, obviously Kobe didn't go to college, LeBron didn't go to college. So I grew up a Carolina fan. But like I wasn't like I said, I grew up in Terrapin territory and Georgetown Hoya territory. So I wasn't really like I didn't have any North Carolina gear, stuff like that.
Yeah, no ties to him.
But I just knew that's where Michael Jordan went to college. So I always appreciated Carolina growing up. But obviously when I got older and Nolan committed to Duke, I just became a Duke fan and I wanted to go to Duke and stuff like that. But as I was doing the recruitment process, like I would say, like in a couple of interviews, it was like, man, I grew up a Carolina fan. Like if they ever recruited me, I would love, to go on a visit and stuff like that. And obviously, as I, got older and got better and started to get more known and became top 10 in my class, Roy, Coach Williams, he started to recruit me, and I went on a visit, with Kendall Marshall. It was fun, but at the time, like they offered me late, and I already had like a great relationship with Coach K, and they had 2 point guards at the time. They had Larry Drew and they had Kendall Marshall. So, before I committed, I didn't think that Larry Drew was going to transfer, and I just didn't want to be that third point guard going there. So it was a tough decision for me. But it came down. They were in my top 4. Duke, Carolina was 2 of my top 4. So that's a unique thing that I went through.
Wow, I didn't know that, man. That's interesting as hell. So for me, I was never not a Duke. Like I was not a Duke fan when I was in high school. A lot of my boys love Duke. They're like, hey, you gotta go to Duke. You gotta go to Duke. And I was just like, I don't know, man. And then I was never recruited. I wasn't recruited by Carolina until going into my senior year. So I was recruited late.
Yeah.
But Duke never recruited me, and that's one of the things of reasons why. I mean, mind you, said I was a Carolina fan. I was always going to pick Carolina anyway, but because of the fact that I never got a chance to go on a visit or be recruited by them, kind of made me dislike them even more. Like, fuck, they didn't recruit me. They didn't even try to get me. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I'm a pretty decent player. I'm pretty good. I thought I was, up and coming, but they didn't recruit me. So once I finally committed, it made it easier. And once we played them, I was like, you know what? I can easily hate this school because they didn't think I was good enough. But I always wanted to be, recruited by them and actually see the campus and check it out and, get a chance to meet, Coach K and, because you're just a high school kid, you're just a fan of pretty much everybody, all the greats. And Coach K is a great, and the school's obviously a great school. So you want to be recruited by everybody. And I was recruited by a lot of schools, a lot of, organizations, a lot of teams, but Duke wasn't one of them. They weren't really recruiting me like that. So that's another reason why I was like, man, fuck them. And then once we got to, I was kind of
gave some more motivation.
Yeah, so it kind of was born into me from that point onwards. Before I even got to school, when I was watching 05 team, when I committed in my senior year, and then I was like, I just kind of built, and the rivalry started building up more and more before I even got to school. So yeah, we'll do one more question with the fans. See if somebody got something good before we log out and chime out. We having a lot of fun right now. We talking some good basketball here. How you guys doing? We're doing okay. We're staying quarantined. Anybody got a basketball question, a Lakers question, a Carolina question, Duke question? Best memory from playing in the rivalry. What's your best memory from the rivalry?
For me, I have two. Obviously, getting out that rivalry with a winning record, that means a lot to me. That means a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think my freshman year, my first game there, was special. Obviously, it's a game that Austin Rivers hit the game-winning shot, but it wasn't just a shot. It was just, like I said, the backstory a little bit. So when we had got there, obviously, like me and Austin were like the two, like that came in together. McDonald's and American, we were supposed to be the backcourt, stuff like that. And they were just killing us in warm-ups, like letting him have it. Anywhere Austin went, he was getting killed by the fans and stuff because he came in so highly touted. But me, like Carolina, like they was letting me have it. So,
yeah.
We had no business winning that game. Like Carolina was just ridiculous that year. They were beating on us the whole night, and we just bunkered down. We made a run, and we had some stuff go our way. Tyler Zeller tips the ball in backwards, it goes in, stuff like that. But then Austin made a play. But if you remember, if you go watch the highlight of that last play, I was just hearing, I was getting booed. I get the ball, I was getting booed, just everybody screaming at me. So when Austin hits the shot, I'm on the bench. Everybody, like, we run to him, we tackle him, and everybody runs to him, and I stop and look at Austin, and I run to the crowd, and I, like, put my jersey on, and then, like, one of our coaches, like, pulled me away, like, we don't do that, stuff like that. They would let me have it the whole game. So when I got back to campus, like, all the Duke fans was like, yeah, way to tell them, what blue's better and stuff like that. So, I mean, obviously it wasn't my best game or anything like that. But that
was your favorite moment?
That was
yeah, man. So I have two favorite moments from the rivalry, man. I said it had to be my freshman year because obviously freshman year first getting to.
For sure.
And like I said, we played each other on somebody's senior night. In my freshman year, we played JJ and them on their senior night. They had JJ, they had the landlord, they had, I think, Lee Melchione was there, Doc. They had so many guys, man. The lineup was crazy, and we weren't that good, so we lost everybody. 05 team had just left.
Right.
We had no business winning that game. Instead, obviously, I've been fortunate enough and lucky enough to be undefeated at Cameron. I had won a record versus them during my 4 years and being undefeated at Cameron. But that moment of winning them my freshman year, when we beat them on their senior night, JJ's my guy now, so, say what's up to him. But then I fucking hated him. Fucking hated JJ. Big shout out to JJ. You're my dog, but fucking hated him. And just to ruin his senior night was like the greatest joy because he was the biggest thing in college basketball at that time.
No question.
And then the second favorite moment was my junior year in that building. I don't know if it was their senior night or not, but it was probably one of the best college games of my career. And that's when I had the dunk against over Paulus, and I had a couple dunks that but played well. I had like 7 blocks, something crazy, and some rebounds. I had a really good all-around game. It was probably my best game of my college career. So that was my 2 favorite moments of the rivalry, and it was good times, man. It was fun times.
Did you know that me and you are the only 2 active NBA players with both the national championship in college and
we're the only 2 ones left. We're the only 2 left.
Only 2 active, bro.
Man. There was a lot before, man. We had a couple guys that was in it for a minute. It's crazy. And we're on the same team right now, too. But there's always usually at least like 4 or 5,
For sure.
Throughout the league, on different teams. There was a bunch of guys that was lasting a while. It was Mario Chalmers, Jason Terry, a couple guys.
Yeah.
But, man, that's dope, bro.
Yeah, that's real dope.
Yeah, so the game that you described, your best memory, reminds me of this year because we had a game. So this year, we had a chance. The first game, we were up, and then we just gave it away, bro.
But do you remember, bro? Like we was running out, because me and you the last 2, we were playing Golden State.
We were playing at Golden State. We were playing at Golden State.
Come on. We like the last 2 out, and we went out like I was up 3, like shooting free throws.
Yeah, I'm like, game's over. I'm like, we good.
Like, game's over, so I
next first time out, they in overtime. I'm like, what the fuck happened?
I'm like, what?
And then after the first time out, like, y'all lost. I'm like, what? We're looking at the scores. I'm like, oh shit, man.
I was smiling the rest of that game.
Bruh, that ruined my whole damn game. I didn't want to play no more. I just wanted to go in the locker room and just
so y'all fans know, that's how serious it is. Obviously, we take our jobs and we take the game serious. But
man, the rivalry still continues. That
rivalry, we need those bragging rights.
The rivalry still continues, and I owe QC $200. And once quarantine is over, bro, I'm gonna get you your money.
I know you're good for it. We good.
For the fans that tuned in, we really appreciate y'all, man. Y'all stay safe. I said stay quarantined, wash your hands. We can't emphasize it enough. We appreciate y'all tuning in. QC, I appreciate you joining me, man, hosting me and debating.
I want to shout out to my fellow national champion, Justice Winslow. He was in here. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Jay.
Shout out to all my Carolina guys that tuned in and not tuning in. We have a nice little chat in the debate of the 05-09 team. Much respect to the 05 team. We love y'all. But I got to go with my boys. Shout out to all the Carolina guys still in the league doing their thing. And everybody that's joined in the podcast. We're still doing some podcast stuff inside the green room. We'll have some different guests come on. But outside of that, man, we said we appreciate y'all. Y'all stay safe. And hopefully get the season back up and running soon. And back to playing some good basketball and entertaining y'all. So much love to everyone. QC, much love, my dog. Appreciate you joining us, man.
Late show.
Had a lot of fun. Y'all stay safe, fellas. Stay safe, people.